Yo, what's going down, everybody? It is Straight Outta Boston, aka the King of Boston, and today we have episode 7 of the Around the League series on NBA 2K13, and today we are doing the San Antonio Spurs. They are next in line, obviously, so let's just get straight into this. I'm going to come right out with it. I do believe that the San Antonio Spurs are going to the NBA Finals this year. They're my NBA Finals pick. I know it's kind of it's different. A lot of people pick the Thunder or the Lakers or, the Grizzlies or something like that. But I think the Spurs are going. And for one, I thought they were going last year. And I thought they were going last year up until the end. Until James Harden decided to, start playing like Michael Jordan in his prime or something like that. I mean, honestly, James Harden went off in that series in the Western Conference Finals. But anyway, I think this team has enough, talent to, and they have a great coach, Greg Popovich, an amazing coach. I think he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think that, they have enough talent. They have a good enough coach. They can make it to the finals this year. I don't know if they could win the finals. I think they match up well with the Heat, who are my pick to get out of the East. I think they're pretty much everyone's pick. Although Knicks and I don't know, some people. I think the Celtics will get it together. But right now, it looks like the Knicks and the Nets are the two biggest threats to them. But I think that if the Spurs do end up matching up with the Heat, then Tim Duncan has a huge advantage. But anyway, let's get into this roster. Now, the common misconception about this team is that they're a very old team. But I look at their roster and I see two guys who I think of as old. Actually, no, four. Take that back. The two obvious ones being Tim Duncan and Ginobli. And you might throw Tony Parker into that mix, but Tony Parker's only 30. And in the NBA, if you're 30 years old, you're pretty much still in the prime of your career. So I would be very hesitant to call Tony Parker old, although he might be just exiting the prime of his career, but he's not old. He's 30 years old. He's just not old at all. He's gonna be playing for another 5 years probably. But looking at the rest of this roster, the other two players who I would consider old on this team are Boris Diaw and Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson obviously being acquired from the Golden State Warriors after he was traded in the Monte Ellis trade. He then got traded for Richard Jefferson and a Spurs first-round pick. I don't know about giving up the first-round pick, although, it was like the 30th overall pick or something. The Warriors got a Festus Ezeli on him, or Festus Ezeli, however you pronounce it. So, it's not like it was an important pick, and I don't think the Spurs were really looking for, future draft picks at this point. But, I think Greg Popovich wanted this guy. He wanted Steven Jackson, who won a won an NBA title with that team earlier in his career. So, I think that Diaw and Jackson were two guys that picked up at the end of last year. I think they were, good pickups. I think they're good role players. Diaw can do a lot of things. He can shoot the ball. He can pass the ball. He can get rebounds. Steven Jackson's a guy who I believe he starts. No, he doesn't start. When Kawhi Leonard's healthy, he doesn't start. But he's a guy who comes off the bench. He can hit threes. Give your second unit a little bit of offense, which is good. And then I look at the rest of this team, and I see pure young talent. I see guys like Kawhi Leonard, who I think is amazing. I think that the George Hill deal for Kawhi Leonard was perfect for both teams. I think that the Pacers wanted another ball handler on their team, and the Spurs didn't need George Hill because they had Gary Neal, and they knew they weren't going to re-sign George Hill. So I think it was a good deal for both teams. I think Kawhi Leonard is going to lead the league in steals someday. I think he could this year if he stays healthy. He's a defensive specialist who has really developed a three-point shot, so he's got a really nice game. I really like Danny Green. Danny Green's a great defensive. He's a great defender, and I'm a believer in a championship team needing a lockdown defender in their starting lineup, and that is what you get in Danny Green. And then, obviously you get Ginobli coming off the bench as the sixth man, really giving you that second unit offense, a lot like what James Harden did and, what Jason Terry does. Not right now, but, back in his Mavericks days, and J.R. Smith, Jamal Crawford, guys who made careers off being sixth men. And that's something that Ginobili's done. And I think he's obviously done very well at it. He's struggling a little bit this year, but he's gotten it back together the last few games, so that's good to see. I think that the Spurs need Ginobili to start hitting shots and start being, at least, he's a shell of what he used to be at this point. He needs to be a little bit better. He's averaging around 12 points per game. I think he needs to get that up to 14 or 15 if the Spurs want to be title contenders, but we'll see. Looking at the rest of this roster, I like guys like Thiago Splitter. I like Gary Neal. I like Kawhi Leonard, like I mentioned. I really like this team. I think they're about 8 or 9 deep. I don't really see them. If you establish their starting five as Parker, Green, Leonard, Diaw, and Tim Duncan, I don't see them going past Ginobili, Neal, and Splitter off the bench. and obviously Captain Jack, Steven Jackson. So, I think they're about 9 deep. I don't really see Matt Bonner playing in, too many minutes in the playoffs, or, Patty Mills, guys like that. But, I mean, they're serviceable as regular season role players, which is good. Bonner's been like a career Spur at this point. So, I really do think this team could go to the NBA Finals. I really like the Spurs this year. And hopefully they don't wear those ugly gray alternates too much. But anyway, you can see the gameplay I am playing up against the LA Lakers, which is a potential Western Conference Finals preview or something like that. Although, I know people think the Lakers are struggling right now, but I think a team like that with enough talent should be able to get it together. We'll see. But anyway, I don't really have too much else to say. Like I said, I think this team's going to the finals. I really don't think they're an old team. I think they have a couple old key players, and they've surrounded themselves with nice young talent. But anyway, that's going to wrap up this video. As you can see, the game disconnects or something. I don't know, connection was pretty bad. So I'll take the W. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.